Hey guys, what's up? What's going on? And welcome back to the channel. So far, I have not been able to do really, well, I guess I'm sorry, I have. The air dog, you know, that was an upgrade, well needed. But other than the air dog, I have not been able to do any performance upgrades on this truck yet. And I think it's high time we do that. You know, I've got all these boxes over here, and all these boxes, that's a performance upgrade. The white one up there, that's an upgrade. It helps with the performance upgrades. That box right there, that's an engine upgrade. That's something that's going to be needed. It's general maintenance. And that one right there, that's a performance upgrade. And I do have some other ones coming too, but it's about 9 o'clock at night. And look at this. Look what I got on. Look at that. They say if you don't like the weather in Ohio, wait till tomorrow, it'll change. I tell you what, they are right. Yesterday it was in the 80s, shorts, t-shirt. Today the high was 60, and right now it's about 47. So it's getting cold as hell here, man, and I'm getting tired of it. I like the warm weather. Anyway, I was rolling through my Instagram the other day, and I come across a sponsored link or sponsored ad on Instagram, and the company's called Diesel Power Source. So I started looking at some of their stuff, and they have some awesome compound setups that I wouldn't mind possibly doing on the second gen. And they have a new VGT turbo out. Check them out. The link is in the description down there. Diesel Power Source. And they've got an Instagram page, they've got a Facebook page, and they have a YouTube channel. So check out Diesel Power Source. I'll get that right. And give them a follow. Reached out to them. They were gracious enough to send me a new intake elbow. So tonight we're going to start with an intake elbow and do a little bit of performance upgrades finally on the dually. What I have is their cast aluminum intake elbow. Pretty cool concept, really. You know, these intake elbows, especially the factory one, they come up through, it's sharp bends, comes through, it's squashed down and restricted as airflow goes into the engine, so you can get your bolts out. But it comes up, hits a spot, come over, hits a spot, and then goes in, and then also gets restricted in. You know, their intake elbow is about the same width all the way through, but it's elongated this way. So as this air comes in and travels, this cavitation is going on down on the bottom. It can travel above that with no restriction on in. If you look at some of these intake elbows, how they're nice and tapered all the way through, there's just a little bit of cavitation in this area here. As that air comes up and hits this top, it causes a little bit of cavitation and circulation of air right here, and it doesn't allow the air to go through cleanly. So therefore it comes up through and it bottlenecks and then opens back up into the intake. This one here, as it's elongated this way, it allows the air to flow straight and through as that cavitation is going on, and it's not restricted at all. So these are available on their website. It has 7 ports if you so choose to use them, with 4 of them drilled out and tapped in 2 different sizes. I'm only going to need 1 for my boost gauge, so it's going to work out pretty good. And I don't even know if I'm going to hook that back up because it's not working in the truck, and neither is the EGT gauge. So they do send you out some plugs if you so choose not to use any of the ports, and a set of studs for the inside right here because it's just a little bit tight getting a bolt in there. So right now, let's get the old one off and get that new one on. Pretty much the only thing you're going to need is a 10mm to take this new one, or I'm sorry, take the old one off. First you start, get your dipstick tube out of the way, take your 4 bolts off here, and loosen up your intercooler boot. When you get all your bolts out, it will be stuck, so just give it a little bit of a tap with a dead blow hammer. And if this has never been off, I'm sure this intercooler boot is going to be stuck too. Just get you a flat screwdriver and run it around this outside edge, and it should pop right off then. If your grid heater does not come loose, don't worry about it, but there's just a couple of more steps you need to do to be able to get it out. You need to unhook your leads to your grid heater, and then on the back of your factory intake elbow there is a stud that holds your wiring harnesses for the intake elbow and for a couple of your injector harnesses. So you need to undo those and to be able to get that off all the way. And then there is a captured zip tie right here on the other side that you'll have to cut because you will no longer be using that either. I do have an extra gasket. I got everything cleaned up on the intake shelf and on the grid heater. So I'm just going to set this back in place. I'm going to use their gasket on the bottom, and I'm going to use my gasket that I have from a gasket kit in between the grid heater and the intake elbow. I'm going to put just a small amount on each one of these plugs of thread sealer and put these in. You can use tape if you want to, but I had thread sealer, so that's what I'm going to use. It's ready to go in the truck now. New boost gauge nipple. Alright, with everything tight, I forgot the boost tube band is 11 millimeter. So you're gonna have 11 millimeter and then 10 millimeter the rest of the way. When you put it back together, they do give you a little bracket here for relocation. I did not use it. I just tweaked the dipstick tube just a little bit and was able to get that mounted there. I did put some thread sealer on that too because that hole is threaded and goes all the way through. One other thing that I do not like was the studs. These are a 1/2 inch. So you have an 11, an 11, a 10, and a half. Before it was just a 10 millimeter and an 11 millimeter. I understand using the studs because of the close proximity and you can't get a bolt in there, but I don't like the fact that I have to use 2 different wrenches to take, or 2 different sockets, actually a socket and a wrench to get these off of here. And because of the close proximity, it's very, very tight and it's really hard to get that back nut tight. They could have used a capped nut or a washered nut and a 10 millimeter or something like that, and had the same clamping pressure, but have this hex just a little bit further away from the intake tube and make it just a little bit easier to tighten that. So I mean, I think they need to work on the studs a little bit, but all in all, awesome product. Easy to install, probably about a 1/2 hour at most, and a lot less restrictive than that right there. So if you guys get a chance, check out Diesel Power Source. All the information is in the description below. And if you guys noticed, there's a little bit of something missing right over here. So there's something coming. Something got to go in there. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, guys, I do appreciate you watching very, very much. Don't forget to check out Diesel Power Source. Links in the description. Awesome company to work with. Awesome products. I'm anxious to see how this runs with this intake elbow on there. They say they will pick up between 15 to 25 horsepower just with that on a stock engine. So pretty cool because I'm a stock engine thus far. For right now, there is more coming. So anyway, guys, like I said, hit that like button, give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not already done so, and we'll talk to you guys later on. Bye-bye.